Disneyland Limited, now arriving from a trip around Walt Disney and Disneyland. Passengers will stand by for more.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard the Disneyland Railroad. For your safety, please remain seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train at all times. Please supervise your children. If you are traveling with small passengers today, let's make sure they are seated away from the train openings for their safety. Thank you, folks. Next stop, New Orleans Square Station.
Hello, folks. Welcome aboard the Disneyland Railroad. We're now embarking on a grand circle tour of the Magic Kingdom, with stops at New Orleans Square, Mickey's Toontown and Tomorrowland, followed by a visit to the Grand Canyon and Primeval World. We got a lot of traveling ahead of us, so remember, for a safe trip, you need to stay seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. And please, watch your children.
Bienvenidos a bordo del Disneyland Railroad. Para su seguridad, permanezca sentado y mantenga las manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del tren. Y cuide a los pequeños. Gracias.
Uh-oh. Did you folks hear that? Sounds to me like we've reached the wilds of Adventureland, where you just might run into a lot of savage critters out there, including lions and tigers and tiki birds. Everybody best be on the lookout. You never know just what may show up. We're approaching our first stop, New Orleans Square Station. This station serves Frontierland, New Orleans Square, and Critter Country. If you'll be leaving us here, please remain seated till the train comes to a complete stop. Then watch your step while getting off. Have a good time on the frontier, you hear?
Stay seated at all times, folks. Please stay seated.
This is New Orleans Square.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now approaching our next stop, which is New Orleans Square Station, servicing New Orleans Square, Critter Country, Adventureland, and Frontierland. Folks, this will be your stop for Pirates of the Caribbean, Splash Mountain, the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, the David Crockett Explorer Canoes, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, the Indiana Jones Adventure, Walt Disney's Enchanted Tiki Room, and many, many more. Folks, please do remain seated until the train comes to a full and complete stop. Please remain seated until you see one or two of your conductors step onto the platform. Thank you, folks, and welcome you all to the Bayou. stop, Mickey's Toontown Depot.
To those who just joined us, welcome aboard the Disneyland Railroad. To ensure a safe ride, remember to stay seated with your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. And please, watch your kids.
Para su seguridad, permanezca sentado y mantenga las manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del tren y cuide a los pequeños. Gracias.
We're now entering Splash Mountain, where every day is a tippity-doo-dah day. If you look real hard, you might just find more laughing place. Over Critter Country, where Winnie the Pooh, Tigger, Brer Rabbit, and Brer Bear make their homes and embark on fun-filled adventures. Although this land was made for critters, human-type folks are always invited to stop in to visit.
I don't think Matthew can get on any. Well, how about the water races? Some of those are no.
We're traveling along the rivers of America and into the American frontier as it looked more than a century ago. This area is so rich with natural beauty and wildlife, you can see why the early settlers were inspired to move west. You're seeing this view just like many of them did, from the comfort of a genuine steam-powered train. When these iron horses first started crisscrossing the country in the 1800s, the time it took folks to reach the West dropped from months to a matter of days. Why, steam power not only fueled the trains, but the dreams of a whole new generation as they settled this great frontier.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome aboard. You're riding along the Holiday 2 today. As a quick reminder for you tonight, we do have plenty of entertainment for you. Our next stop is going to be Mickey's Toontown Depot. But before I tell you what attractions there are, just make sure you folks stop by and catch Disneyland Forever, our fireworks spectacular, which will be at 9:30 tonight. We also have our nighttime spectacular on the rivers of America, Fantasmic, at 9 and 10:45. You do need a fast pass for that. Make sure you get a fast pass for those shows. And of course, our new electrical parade pick the night, which will be at 8:50 and 10:45 this evening along Main Street, U.S.A. Our next stop is going to be Mickey's Toontown, folks. This will be your stop for Mickey's Toontown and all of Fantasyland. And of course, the next showing of Mickey and the Magical Map, which will be at 3:15 at the Fantasyland Theater. We do ask you to please remain seated until the train comes. Thank you, folks.
Say, have you ever wondered what it would be like to visit the cartoon town where Mickey, Minnie, Donald, and Goofy live? Well, in just a few moments you can find out for yourself, because our next stop is Toontown Depot, official train station for Mickey's Toontown. This is also the nearest stop to Fantasyland, where you will find many of your favorite Disney animated characters and stories. If you'll be leaving us here, please wait until the train comes to a full stop. Remember your personal belongings, then step carefully from the train. You all have fun and say hi to Mickey for me. For those of you continuing on with us, we'll be resuming our trip in just a moment. This is Toontown Depot.
Once again, folks, please remain seated until we come to a complete stop. And I do ask you folks to please... Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard the Disneyland Railroad. For your safety, please remain seated seated while the train is in motion, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. Please supervise your children and make sure those small passengers are seated away from the train openings for their safety. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us on the Disneyland Railroad. For a safe ride, remember to stay seated with your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. And please, watch your kids.
¿Qué tal, amigos? Y bienvenidos a bordo. Para su seguridad, permanezca sentado y mantenga las manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del tren. Y cuide a los pequeños. Gracias.
As we steam on through Fantasyland, you may want to take one more look at the majestic Matterhorn Mountain and the happiest cruise that ever sailed. It's a small world. Ahead of us lies the future. Well, I guess we all know that. What I mean to say is, we're heading into Tomorrowland, where everything is possible. If you look overhead, you might catch a glimpse of a monorail. When Disneyland introduced the monorail back in 1959, it was the first daily operating monorail system in the entire Western Hemisphere. Winding below us is the Autopia, where drivers of all ages can get behind the wheel of a car, and no license is required. If you ever wanted to become an astronaut, then you might want to stop at Space Mountain and Star Tours, where they got some newfangled flying spaceships that launch you into the deepest reaches of space. And you can ride them if you got the mind and the nerve. Well, folks, we're now arriving at Tomorrowland Station. If you'll be leaving us here, just stay seated till we come to a full stop. Gather your belongings and step carefully from the train. Thanks. Have fun in the future. For the rest of you, just sit tight. We'll be on our way again in just a minute.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're now approaching Tomorrowland Station. We do ask you to please remain seated until we come to a full complete stop. Folks, this will be your stop for Space Mountain, Star Tours, Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters, the Disneyland Monorail, the Autopia, and Finding Nemo Submarine Voyage, and many, many more. Once again, folks, please remain.
Oh, what? That's good for your skin.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard. For your safety, we do ask you to please remain seated while the train is in motion, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train at all times. Please supervise your children, and if you have small passengers, make sure they are seated away from the train openings for their safety. Now, folks, before we get to Main Street Station, which is our next stop, we will be taking a detour along the Grand Canyon, so we do ask you folks to please refrain from flash photography so we don't scare any of the critters in there. Thank you, friends.
The next leg of our journey will take us along the rim of the Grand Canyon. It's a mighty long drop to the canyon floor. So for your safety, stay seated with your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. Be sure to watch your kids and no flash pictures, please.
Para su seguridad, permanezca sentado y mantenga las manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del tren. Y cuide a los pequeños. Por favor, no tome fotografías con flash.
But it wasn't always that way. I know, because we traveled back in time back to the fantastic Primeval World, land of the dinosaurs. Now steaming back to our own time and to Main Street Station, gateway to Disneyland. If you'll be leaving us here, stay in your seat till we come to a full stop. And remember to gather all your personal belongings, including the young'uns if you got any, and step carefully from the train. I'd especially like to thank those of you who've been with me for the Grand Circle Tour of Disneyland. We surely hope you enjoyed your travels with us and that you'll come back and see us again real soon. For those of you traveling on, we'll be on our way again in just a few minutes. This is Main Street Station, Main Street, USA.
Cinderella's back. Ariel's back over there. Here?
Yeah, I see Ariel. Ladies and gentlemen, we're now approaching our next stop, Main Street Station. Please keep in mind Main Street does not have any ramps, so make sure that you